Hello, welcome to Priory Paddock. We're into September now, the year is on the turn, the schools are going back, and for many, in fact I suppose really all of the plants in Priory Paddock, we're coming towards the end of their annual cycle. They've grown, they've flowered, they've set seed, their fruits are now ripening, and the annuals are dying off, and the perennials are beginning to back down from their leaves into the root to see them through the winter so that they can start off again in the spring. This is most clearly visible in the bushes and shrubs, small trees in the paddock, which flowered in the spring or early summer, and now their fruits are ripening beautifully. At the lower end of the paddock there are hawthorn bushes with sprays of bright red haws on them. The trees are festooned with really thick, heavy bunches this year of glossy black elderberries that the birds are beginning to feed on very much, and the bright green Guelder rose bushes near the pond, which are just beginning to have brown edges to their leaves, are festooned with heads of glossy red berries. Plants which are still flowering, these are generally late summer plants, and I can see there are some tall yellow spikes of flowers on the dark mullein. Lower down, closer to the ground, the bird's foot trefoil are in flower, still in flower, although that's been in flower all summer long, and so the bird's feet, which are the sprigs of seed pods, are clearly visible on the bird's foot trefoil plants, as well as the small dark yellow flowers. The vast majority are simply represented now by seed heads or empty seed heads, but the purple loosestrife, the tall purple loosestrife, is still the tops of the sprays of purple loosestrife are still in flower, and they are very, very popular with the few bumblebees that are left. And at this time of the year, lots and lots of hoverflies. I can see a gingerish looking bumblebee here, and several black-bodied hoverflies with yellow stripes across them. They look a bit like imitation wasps. Coming further up the paddock, the thistles, I think all the thistles, there were a lot of spear thistles here, and but all the flowers have gone over on the thistles now, and the thistles are dying back. They're biennial, and this as they've come to the end, they're coming to the end of their cycle now. The spear thistles are dying back, and they're covered in great large tufts of thistledown. The creeping thistles are still green. They're a perennial, but they too are now not in flower. The flowers have all gone and been replaced by ragged tufts of thistledown, because the thistledown has ripened and the sun and wind are now thinning out the tufts of thistledown. There are a few flowers still to be seen. The purple, as I said, the purple loosestrife. There's some red valerian, looking a bit like strawberry ice cream, near the well, near the path to the well, and there's a few meadow cranesbills left there, bright blue flowers, and pink striped mallow flowers, and a few spikes of marsh woundwort, which again are very popular with the bees and these hoverflies. But generally speaking, there's very little else left in flower now. The buddleia, which was smothered in butterflies a fortnight ago, is now covered in spikes of brown seeds. And the meadowsweet, again, the seed heads are quite visible. And even on the codlins and cream, the tallest flowers in the paddock, they have almost completely finished flowering, and the seed heads are ripening, and they can be seen now as well. Coming up towards the top of the paddock, past the mallow flowers, there's one or two knapweed flowers still in flower, and some scabious, but not a great deal else to be seen. On the wall, the ivy flowers are just starting to open, and where they are open, they're covered in hoverflies, and there are a few butterflies to be seen at the upper end of the paddock. These are speckled wood butterflies. They're small, brown and cream spotted butterflies, and they are resident here in the paddock. I've come up now to the top end of the paddock, and the crabapple trees here are heavy with fruit. They are indeed crab apples, but they're very, very large crab apples. They're the size of many ordinary apples, and behind them, and along in various places where they haven't been removed, we've got brambles, and the brambles are covered in glossy blackberries now. There's a wild rose, a dog rose, under the cherry tree, and that's covered in rose hips, but I can't see any fruit on the cherry tree. It was covered in the year, but I can't see any fruit at all. Perhaps if you have a good look, you might be able to see something that I've missed, but I can't see any fruit on the cherry tree at the moment. Well, I can see a speckled wood fluttering round underneath the cherry tree in the sunshine. Right, well, that's what I can see here in the paddock at the moment. Have a look round.